You are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
College Basketball Report on Twitter at CBK Report released a list of the best one-and-done players in the history of college basketball. Now, College Basketball Report has nearly 100,000 followers over on Twitter, and he's normally very well-versed in college basketball. But when we pull up the rankings right now, you will see, if you're watching this on YouTube, that Carmelo Anthony is rated 6th among the top 31 and dones in the history of college basketball. For those that are listening, I'm just going to read you the top 6, okay? We don't need to go through every single or all 30 names here. Zion Williamson, number 1. Michael Beasley at 2. Kevin Durant at 3. Cooper Flagg this past season at 4. And Anthony Davis at number 5. Let's go over Melo's achievements, and then we'll compare him to some of the other players that were ahead of him on the list in the next segment here, because it's just absolutely absurd how Carmelo Anthony isn't even a top 5 one and done. I mean, look, I get I'm a Syracuse host. I'm a Syracuse alum. There's bias here for sure. But I mean, comment below in the comment section below right now. Where do you think Carmelo Anthony sits all time among players that were one and done in college basketball? And if you don't understand what I'm saying by one and done, it means you played one season in college basketball and that was it. You did something else afterwards. Most likely you went to the NBA draft, right? I'd argue, and this is a separate argument, that Carmelo Anthony is the greatest player in the history of Syracuse basketball. He was only there for one season. I get it. Just 1 year, 2002, 2003. But he led Syracuse to a national title. It's the only national title in the history of Syracuse basketball. They've had tons of great players, tons of great teams, lots of chances. But the one time that Syracuse got it done was when Carmelo Anthony was leading the pack in 2003. His overall numbers, keep in mind, this is only as a true freshman, right? All these guys on the list are true freshmen. He averaged 22 points per game, 10 rebounds, 45% from the field, 34% three-point, over 1.5 steals, and nearly 1 block per game. Syracuse as a team heading into their national title season, for those that don't know, they were unranked. They were not necessarily a team that was supposed to compete for a national championship. In fact, when you look over the years of the history of Syracuse basketball and all the great teams that they've had, even entering the NCAA tournament, I don't think many people had Syracuse winning the national championship in 2003. Like, look, I get it. I was only 1 year old at the time when Syracuse won. But still, I mean, you can go back through the history books, read old articles, listen to what people say. And I don't think many people were picking Syracuse in their March Madness bracket in 2003. I mean, they had a strong regular season. They were 23-4 that year. They won the Big East regular season title. And Syracuse was given a 3 seed for the NCAA tournament. And then in the NCAA tournament, Carmelo Anthony averages 20 points per game, 10 rebounds per game. He had 3 straight double-doubles from the Elite 8 on. So Elite 8, Final 4, national title, all double-doubles for Carmelo Anthony. And he shot nearly 48% from the three-point line in the NCAA tournament. 48%. Bringing it back to today, we talk about Nate Kings a lot here on this channel, the transfer from Oregon State, and how excited we are to have him on the team this upcoming season, because last year at Oregon State, he shot nearly 45% from the three-point line. Well, Carmelo Anthony in the NCAA tournament shot nearly 48% from the three-point line. He was the NCAA tournament's most outstanding player in 2003, and his 121 points in the NCAA tournament were the 3rd most ever by a freshman. Facts. All facts about Carmelo Anthony as a one-and-done player in college basketball. So when I list off the achievements of Melo in that season, it's kind of, You don't even need to think about some of the other players on the list. Just his resume alone, you would think that that's probably someone who has a top 3 all-time one and done season. And not to mention, I talked about how Syracuse basketball did not have necessarily the highest preseason expectations in 2002, 2003. They were unranked in the preseason poll, 3 seed heading into the NCAA tournament. It's not to disrespect the entirety of the roster, but Carmelo Anthony that season only had one other player that would go on to play in the NBA, and that was Hakeem Warwick. That was it. So when in the next segment, when we discuss the other players that are ahead of Carmelo Anthony, I think for the most part, they all had more NBA teammates. So Carmelo Anthony leads Syracuse to a national title as a 3 seed in the NCAA tournament with, don't get me wrong, it was a very good team. You obviously have to be a good team to win the national championship, but it's not like he had the 2nd overall pick and the 5th overall pick also on his roster. One future NBA teammate in Hakeem Warwick. That was it. So Carmelo Anthony being 6th on this list by College Basketball Report, absolutely absurd. Total disrespect to, in my opinion, the greatest player in the history of Syracuse basketball.